the silly. Hello, Thal. I tell you. Still, like a 1% lightheadedness, has suddenly appeared within like the last hour. Don't know what that's about. Maybe I'm still reacclimating to screen life. Okay, I was like, why is my scrolling so fucking laggy? It's because the window wasn't in focus. Okay, let's see. So, exciting stuff. I have gotten some more done on the game after getting back home. Let's see if this will display properly once it runs. Okay, there we go. So, we've got parts. The car is made up of parts now. They will be affected by things. We got traffic in the speed sections that will slow you down if you hit them. And we got ourselves some nitrous that you build up from shifting good and drifting good. There's no, like, visual effect for it yet, but it does function mechanically. It speeds you up for, I believe, 2.5 seconds. We got shit going on. I believe the next thing... Now there's an opportunity for violence, indeed. Maybe the next thing I wanted to do was implement the parts damage and have it so that the more worn down they are, the less effective they are. And every part gets damaged in a different way. I tried to keep it, like, semi-related to how parts would be damaged in real life. After that, I think I would want to start setting up, like, actually turning this into a level. Because right now, you just go. It needs, like, you know, at the start, there needs to be some stuff, and at the end, there needs to be some stuff. Monster, welcome in. Let's go! Happy Tuesday. I have returned. I have the bones now for the meat. Yeah. I think the first thing to do would be to do, like, the time attack mode. Oh, here we go. It's like I never left. I'll just continue testing while that goes. Fuck it. Yes, welcome in. I hope you enjoyed your weekend. But as I was saying, I think the first thing I want to do is implement like a time attack mode, since I won't need to implement rival AI for that. That feels like the logical thing to do. Hello, Maxwell. It's been a while. Welcome back, Maxwell. Yeah, I'll wait to see if more people show up before I begin to regale you with the tales of the last 8 or so days. Probably closer to like 10 at this point. Definitely technically gonna start farther back, because a few days before the start of the trip is when the shit began. For now, let's start implementing damage. Let's see. Where is my fucking preview? Alright, hang on. If I reload this, let's show properly. Where's my fucking preview, dog? That's strange. Close Markdown Preview. Can I show Markdown Preview? There we go. Okay. There, Rub, welcome in. It's gonna preview. Okay, that's enough people. I can start. Alright. So, over the course of the last week, I was away visiting Duke because he does this thing where he calls it Friendsgiving, where he invites a bunch of friends to come hang out and do a Thanksgiving-esque celebration. He does it early, so that way it does not interfere with, like, family Thanksgiving stuff, which I think is a pretty neat idea. Welcome in, Rub. Goodbye, Rub. It was cool having you. Thank you for the lurk. So that's cool. He's been doing it for a couple years now, at least, maybe longer. And this time, I have been invited. This is my first time getting an invitation, because I think it's the first time Duke's doing this, and he also knew me. And realistically, I'm going to, full disclosure before continuing, was I financially prepared to have a week-long outing? No. However, sometimes I think about my life and how I'm a real homebody. I don't really go out a lot. And sometimes I think about the movie Yes Man, and I'm like, you know what? I should also say yes to more things. I should do more things. Those are generally good for your body in a, like, life experience way. It's good to obtain life experiences. If the movie Yes Man and the Game of Life have taught me anything, it's that experiencing things is, generally speaking, good for you. So, I was like, you know what? Yeah, fuck it, let's do it. I will tag along. I'll make it work. So, week leading up to the trip, I'm like, okay, time to make myself presentable. I'll get a shave in, cut my hair down so it's a little less shaggy. And my fucking razor breaks. Or I guess trimmer. Like, not even, it wasn't like I was cutting my hair and it, like, broke in the middle of me cutting my hair, which honestly would have been way worse. So I guess it's for the best that that did not happen. But literally, I went into the bathroom to grab the trimmer, and the head of the trimmer was just in pieces. I have no idea what happened. It literally just fell apart while it was sitting in storage. I have no idea how that happened. I was like, okay, I'm mechanically inclined, and I can vaguely see how these parts come together. But I'm not gonna take my chances and potentially incorrectly reconstruct this thing that cuts things that I'm going to put on my skin. So I was like, alright, I have a backup trimmer. It's older. And it's kind of shit, but, like, it does the job. So that's what I feel like is the start of the troubles. From after that, there was something else before the trip started that escapes me, but something else inconvenient also happened in the lead up to the trip. And then comes the day of the trip. Me and Fao are packing, we're getting ready. And I think to myself, well, since we're driving there, because where Duke is hosting this event is close enough to us that we can get there in a 2-day trip. So I think, well, we can drive there so I don't have to buy airfare and deal with the fucking airport because I hate flying. And we can make a little road trip out of it, since we could. It's one of those things where if you just knock it out in one go, you can get there in like a full day of driving. But if we split it up across 2 days, we can take the scenic route and we can see the sights. So that was the idea. And I'm thinking, okay, since I don't have to worry about getting on a plane and carry-on limitations and all that, we can pack more than we usually do when we travel. So I'm like, all right, I have 2 backpacks. I've got one backpack that's got all my computers. I'm bringing my personal laptop and my work laptop so I can do work while I'm there, because it's like a week-long thing. And I have another backpack that has my clothes, so that way I can comfortably pack over a week's worth of clothes without worrying about backpack space, which is normally something that's a huge pain. And I take the work backpack, the computer backpack, because it's already good to go. There's some things that I need to put into the clothes backpack before we head out. So I leave that there for now. I take the computer backpack, I put it in the car, I start loading everything else up, and then once it's closer to go time, I put the last few things in the clothes backpack, and it starts to rain. And it was raining the day before the trip with signs of hail. So my mom was like, hey, can you take my truck and put it in your carport since you have a roof? In case it hails, so we don't get hail damage. And I'm like, absolutely. I do that. So in the morning, we have our car and we have my mom's truck. And I'm thinking, first of all, God, I hope the ground is not still muddy from the rain last night, because that would be a serious problem if we can't get to the road because it's too fucking muddy, because we don't have a driveway. We don't have a driveway to our house, because my parents have like the main house, and my house is just like off to the side, out of the way. So we just use like a fucking dirt path to get to the main road. Thankfully, it is dry enough that we can drive through it. The tires get a nice little mud caking, which makes it inconvenient to drive for a little bit. Like, you have to drive slower until all that stuff comes off. But that was probably the start of the anxiety, was the night before, thinking, oh boy, I hope the ground's not too wet. Alright, we wake up, it's the morning of, we're putting everything in the car, and I want to take the truck back to my mom, so that way she doesn't have to walk through the mud all the way to our house to come get it. So I tell Fal, hey, can you take the car to the main road just to get it through the mud, and then I'm gonna take the truck to my parents' place, and then I'll come back and then I'll come back to the car, and then we can head out. So I do that, and in the time it takes for me to get the truck to my parents' place, which is like a 1-minute drive, it starts to rain again. So I'm thinking, that's unfortunate. But thank goodness I asked Fal to move the car to the main road already, so we don't have to worry about the mud. So I just call Fal. I'm like, hey, yeah, you see this rain? Can you also come to my parents' place, so that way I don't have to walk through the rain to get to the car? You can just like pick me up. So they do that. I hop in the car, and we get driving, and I think to myself, we are going to get lunch at the Chick-fil-A that is like 20 minutes from our house. That would be a great time to double check our inventory, make sure we have everything, because if anything's missing, we're only 20 minutes away. It would be annoying, but it wouldn't be the end of the world to turn around, go all the way back, and then resume the journey. So we get to Chimkin Filet. I have my usual. Fal has their usual. I'm going into this trip thinking, right, we have like $200 to stretch across an entire week of, fun events and fancy restaurants that all cost admission, like tourist trappy type of things. And I'm thinking in my head, okay, I'm trying to calculate. I'm trying to calculate how to make the money work. That's most of the drive, is me running calculations in my head of how to make this work. I'm thinking, right, I have a credit line with a firm that I know I can use at hotels. So I can book hotels through them, and it doesn't come out of my bank account. I can pay that later. We'll be good. And I can also use that credit line at Walmart, so whatever stuff we need to get while we're there, like, you know, the house supplies or travel toiletries and breakfast food and stuff like that, I can also take care of that through a firm, so that's not coming out of the bank account, so that doesn't count. So that's good. We're saved. We're spreading out our finances as best we can to save the actual debit card for the important events where we get to hang out with everybody. And we go through Austin. It's like drizzling. Brooke, welcome in. It's like drizzling on the way to Austin, but it's otherwise a nice, relaxing drive. We stopped by at, what was it called? The Arboretum. It's an outdoor mall in Austin. It was really cool. We parked in front of the Pottery Barn and got very confused about the location of the bathroom because the directory is very strangely laid out. But we find it eventually. We see a fuck ton of grackles. We have McDonald's. We were going to have Five Guys because it was, like, in the area. Yeah, we spent most of the time at the Barnes & Nobles, which was fun. And then I was like, there's a Five Guys right here. And we look at the menu. It's Five Guys, so it's expensive. And I'm like, you know what? Let's get McDonald's. That'll be cheaper. Kato, welcome in. Happy Tuesday. It's been a while. I'm regaling chat with what all has happened to me over the past week. So we go to McDolan. This McDonald's is located in what I described to Foul as a Unity asset flip shopping center. Like, we pull in, and half of the shopping center is under construction. So there's shopping center stuff, and then there's construction stuff in like a perfect 50-50 distribution. And then we look behind the McDonald's, and there's a Ferris wheel. And we're like, what the fuck is happening? What is happening in this block? It was an extremely bizarre vibe in the area. But we get our McDolan. It's mid. I feel like most of my McDonald's experiences recently are way more mid than they used to be. I've heard people complaining that McDonald's is getting worse, and maybe it is. Because, man, I feel like it's been a hot minute since I've ordered McDonald's, and there's been, like, you get hit with the good fries. It mostly just comes down to the fries. I feel like McDonald's has not served me peak fries in a long time. So there's that. We eat, and then I pull into whatever fucking hotel I can find that's less than $100 a night. I pay for it with a firm, and I go to grab our stuff from the car, and okay, I have the work backpack. We have the towels. We have Foul's backpack. My clothes backpack is missing. We are, at this point, about 3 hours away from home. It is like 8 p.m., and because of the time of year, it's already pretty pitch black, and you hear the thunder of a much more intense storm coming in. It would be extremely unpleasant to try and go back home at this point for a multitude of reasons. And I weigh my options. I can ask, I call my mom, And I'm like, hey, we're in Austin. Everything's great. We're A-okay. We have a hotel. We're safe. I left my clothes at home. Could you, in the morning, I wouldn't add, like, you know, it's too late. Don't worry about it right now. But in the morning, could you grab my backpack and, like, ship it to the Airbnb that we're going to? And I hang up after we have that discussion, and I think, tomorrow's Sunday. The fucking post office is going to be closed. The earliest she could send it is Monday. We're heading back on the following Sunday. It, like, even assuming that she could pay for giga expedited shipping and do, like, 2-day shipping, that would be ridiculously expensive for a situation where I'm still going to have to buy clothes anyways. So I'm like, you know what? It would be way less expensive if I just bought a week's worth of just, like, plain white tees, a couple of cheap cargo pants, a set of underwear and socks, and that'll do me. Like I said, I have a credit line I can use with Walmart. I can just use that to get all of that. We'll be sorted. So I text her a couple minutes after calling her, and I'm like, you know what? Never mind. It would be way less expensive to just buy replacement clothes. So, on Sunday, we wake up, we hit the road nice and early. I order online. No, sorry, this is the second time that I tried to use the phone with Walmart. The first time was before we got to the hotel. And we went to Walmart to get some toiletries and stuff, and some breakfast food. And I'm like, okay, Affirm says I can use it when buying online or in store. We're in store for the convenience. And I try to set it all up, and it's not working. It gives me like a virtual card that I link to my phone, and then use your phone's tap to pay at the Walmart. This Walmart doesn't have tap to pay. So I ended up getting like a $100 virtual Walmart card on my phone that I can't use, that has cut into my credit line. And I just end up paying out of pocket for this purchase. So that's immediately cutting into what I have on the debit card. So Sunday comes around, and I'm not making that fucking mistake again. I'll just order it online, and then by the time we get to the Airbnb, which I ordered at the closest Walmart to the Airbnb, the order will be ready. We can just pick it up. It'll already be paid for through Affirm online. It's fucking foolproof. Jade, welcome in. Happy Tuesday. So I do that, and we get to the Walmart. Everything's aces. We pick everything up. There's no problem. And at this point, I'm thinking, right, I have a credit line that I can use with Walmart. Walmart sells gift cards that can be used anywhere. I'm putting two and two together, and I'm thinking I can make this our travel fund. Let's do that. But their e-gift card purchasing process is a little different than buying regular groceries. My initial plan was to buy the gift card along with the other stuff we were buying that day. But because the process is different, I was like, okay, to make it safe, let's make these two separate purchases. So I'll do the grocery purchase first, and that goes through just fine. We pick up the groceries, and then we have some time before we meet up with Duke. So while we're waiting for him, I try to order the gift card. And it's saying I have like a couple thousand in quote-unquote purchasing power according to a firm. So I'm like, okay, I'll order like a $500 gift card and I'll use that throughout the trip as my travel stipend. I try to do that, and a firm's like, no, you have too much shit active. And I'm like, now correct me if I'm wrong. I have not been to grade school in a couple years now, to say the least. But last time I checked, 500 is a lot lower than 2,000. So what gives? It turns out what gives is that the $100 virtual card that I tried to use and was not able to use was still being processed. The $100 and something virtual card that I applied to do the grocery purchase that we did just now, I actually had to do 2 for that one, because the first time I accidentally made the request too early and did not realize there was going to be some additional surcharges added. So it was like, the order was going to be $130. So I made a credit request for $130. And then they slapped on some surcharges and it was actually like $140. So they won't adjust the credit line dynamically. I have to just straight up make another request, this time for $140, so I can actually pay for this shit. So a firm sees that I have 3 credit requests going through them, despite the fact that I only used 1. There was no option to prematurely terminate the other 2. Even though they were not used. They were completely it wasn't even like a partial purchase. I just wasn't allowed to use them, so they're just sitting there. And I can't cancel them. But they see that those 3 are active, and they're like, you have way too many credit shits active right now. We're not giving you any more. And so I'm at less than $200 on the debit card, and completely shit out of luck with a firm now. I can't use them for anything anymore until this shit gets processed. Which, by the time that gets... I'm pretty sure it's still processing. And thankfully, I'm not on the hook for the ones that I didn't use. But I'm pretty sure if I tried to take out another credit line with them, they still would not let me. Until all 3 of those are taken care of. So I'm really kicking myself at this point, because if I had just gotten the fucking credit card, the fucking gift card from the beginning, I would have had more than enough to cover these groceries and the rest of the travel expenses. But alas, I did it in a fucked up and bad order and screwed myself. So now I'm rerunning, double, triple running the calculations in my head. And at this point I'm like, I don't know how we're gonna make this work, but we're gonna make it work. Welcome in, Mino. Happy Tuesday. I'm sure you'll love this, Mino. It's time for a bunch of my misfortunes. To get anybody caught up who is just now getting here, my razor broke before the trip started. It rained the day before the trip, so the ground was very muddy. The cars got very muddy. I left my clothes at home by accident. I only realized when we were 3 hours away from home at 8 p.m. with a storm brewing, so turning back at this point was not the best option. And I opportunity costed myself out of $500, essentially. So, that's everything that's happened so far. I'm down to probably close to 150 bucks, and that's it. Probably closer to 200 because I had some other credit lines that were like close to maxed out, but they weren't quite maxed out. I had some stuff that I could use there. So I probably had like $180 to my name. And we have not even met Duke yet. Like, we are technically still in the fucking prologue of this trip. So we meet up with Duke. It's a great time. Meeting everybody was fantastic. There was Duke and LT, of course, and there was also Lumi, Trey, and Bell. Treybon, I think he's been in my chat at least once, but he is much more, if you hang out in Duke streams, you've probably seen him there. Same with Bell. Which, I actually got confused with Bell Coyote. There was a point where we were playing Jackbox and I accused her of being in defeat. And she looked at me like I was crazy. And I'm like, what are you looking at me like that for? It's literally your fucking brand. And then I realized, no, that's Bell Coyote. The person I am talking to is Bell Ais. And I felt so bad. I, like, the false accusation with such confidence. I felt fucking terrible for that. But... Right. So at this point, we meet up with Duke and the gang. The theme of this trip is basically going to boil down to when I'm hanging out with Duke and the gang, it's great. We're having a fantastic time. They are fantastic people. I loved every second of getting to hang out with everybody at Friendsgiving. That was fantastic. Whenever I'm not hanging out with Duke and the gang, it is Anxiety City. So, day one, we hang out, and then we go to Duke's place. It's great. We have a fantastic time. We play some Jackbox. Duke makes some fancy instant ramen for me. I believe this is the first time I ever ate cooked instant ramen. And Duke, you know, he's a chef. He spruces it up even more than usual. And, like, that's good shit. I'm not going to cook instant ramen on my own time. Like, I'll stick to eating the bricks, but Duke makes a damn good instant ramen, I'll tell you what. Yeah, then we go home. We're getting ready for bed, and I'm thinking, right, 180 bucks to my name, stretched across. Let's see, that was Sunday, so we have to get through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Technically, we have to get through Sunday because I need to make sure that we can pay for gas to get home on Sunday. So we have 7 days to go. I've got 180 bucks with 7 days to go. And that's all that's racing through my head when I'm trying to get to sleep. I wake up and it's Monday, which means I have to work. I wake up, check my phone, check my work email, shit's on fire. I wake up and, oh, this person has touched something on my project and they fucked it up and they're asking me to fix it. Okay, cool. This client is saying that their website doesn't work. Cool. Let me get on that. This other client says that they posted these documents like 3 days ago, and apparently I didn't see them, and they're wondering where they're at. Cool. Okay, we got a fucking laundry list. Let's get it done. So, I'm doing that. Fao is getting ready to go out to get more groceries and just go out on a drive and explore and get some stuff for the Airbnb that we haven't gotten yet. So I'm working away, and I get a call. I look at my phone, it's from Fal. I pick up, and they're like, hey, the car won't start. And I'm like, I have that moment where I try to wake up. Like, that moment where you're like, this cannot be reality. I should wake up now. And that doesn't happen. So I'm like, okay, let me come out there and take a look at it. I walk out. I try to start the car. Nothing. Like, the car was driving completely fine right up until yesterday. And now the starter's not even going. Like, you turn the key and it's not like the starter's going and the engine's not turning over. I'm turning the key and it doesn't even click. Literally nothing is happening. And that is... If I was a lesser man, I would have had a panic attack right then and there. Because I have no information. If the starter was going but the engine wasn't turning over, I could be like, okay, battery's probably dead. But because the starter's not even going, my brain is going, okay, it could be the battery's dead, or it could be the starter's dead, which would be a much more difficult problem to address. God forbid the engine could be seized somehow. I hit a harsh bump the night before going back to the Airbnb. Is it possible that we hit something hard enough that something in the engine bay has come loose? Who fucking knows how expensive this fix is gonna be? I have $180 to my name, remind you. So I'm like, all right, let's look at the engine bay. Let's see what's going on. I get out. I walk to the engine bay. I pop the hood. Look inside. Everything looks normal. Nothing's out of place. Terminal contacts look good. The battery isn't showing signs of corrosion or anything. Nothing looks out of place. So I'm like, right. Maybe let's assume that the battery is dead. Maybe it's, you know, it's getting cold. We had a long drive on the way here. It's getting cold. We know that batteries get weaker when they get cold. Maybe if we just give it a little bit as the morning sun comes up, when it warms up a little bit, it'll get enough juice that we can turn it on, and then I'll just let it idle a bit so the alternator can charge the battery. So we go back inside. I take care of the rest of the morning fires at work, and then after that, I'm thinking to myself, I need to eat. I need to eat breakfast. This is like, whenever my anxiety starts to go up, I remind myself, okay, your brain works better when you are well fed, when you don't have to shit, and when you've nutted recently. Post-nut clarity is real. I'm in an Airbnb. One of that last option's off the table. I just have to fucking deal with that. I don't need to use the bathroom, so that's sorted. But I haven't had breakfast yet. So I'm like, okay, I can get my fucking brain to slow down a little bit if I just eat. I've been thinking that to myself ever since Fal mentioned that the car won't start. So I'm trying to start the car, try not to freak out, thinking, right, I should eat before I continue troubleshooting. But then we pop the hood and I look under the hood to investigate, and I'm still thinking to myself, right, I should eat. So we go back inside while we wait for the car to try to warm up, and I'm like, I should eat. But there's a bunch of other shit at work going on that needs to get taken care of right now. I was already interrupted by the car shit, so I really need to get that done. So I do that. It takes like an hour, and I'm like, I should eat, but I should also see if the car is warmed up enough yet. I go out, try to start the car, nothing has changed. It still won't even click. And I'm like, I'm like, okay, before I continue troubleshooting, I should eat. So I go back. It's almost lunchtime at this point. I'm not feeling well, but I pour myself a bowl of cereal and I start eating. And while I'm eating, I'm looking up on my phone, Hyundai Venue, turnkey, and doesn't even click. Because I'm trying to see if there's anything specific, especially for this car in particular, that has that happening instead of the starter going and not successfully starting the car. And I'm seeing stuff that's like, it's like the WebMD shit, where it's like, yeah, it could be cancer, but let's not pay attention to those. Those are unlikely. Let's look at the stuff that's a little bit more realistic. And I see some that are like, I cleaned the terminals, and that fixed it. Sometimes terminals just get really dirty, and they can, especially if the battery is already weak, that can weaken the connection enough that it just straight up won't start. So I'm like, okay, that's an idea. Let's try to clean the terminals. I have my handy dandy multi-tool on me, my Leatherman or Gerber, depending on your inflection. I was like, man, I'm so glad I brought that with me. It's got pliers on it that I can use to grab the terminal bolt or the terminal nut and unscrew it, because it's a small thing. It's like a 10-centimeter wrench would take that thing off. So handheld pliers, those should do the trick. So I go and get about halfway through the house before I realize, wait, what am I going to clean the terminals with? I don't have, like, the only tool I have on me is my multi-tool. I don't have a brush. I don't have battery cleaner. And I'm like, okay, we're at an Airbnb. They should have something. So I start looking through the kitchen, and I see we have a brush. We have like a wire brush under the sink. I'm like, okay, I'll use that, and I'll just clean it really good afterwards, so that that is not a problem. So I grab that, and I'm looking around, and okay, we have baking soda. Okay, I have a brush, I have baking soda. That's all you need to clean a battery. So I grab a cup, put some baking soda in there, I start pouring in water, and it's not really mixing at first, so I think, oh, that's way too much baking soda, I should add more water. And I just keep on adding more water, and then I take a knife and mix it, and it starts to dissolve, and I'm like, fuck, I put way too much water in here. So, and I don't want to burn through the entire house's supply of baking soda, just in case we need it for something else. And also because, you know, that's just poor etiquette to go through another house's resources like that. So I'm like, okay, I have a way too diluted baking soda cleaning solution, but I'll just fucking deal with it. So I take that, pour a little bit on the battery, and I scrub it off, and I'm noticing that the battery has not changed that much. Now, granted, I know what battery corrosion looks like. I've cleaned plenty of batteries at my time in Subaru. You get that, like, bright blue and green cotton candy type of buildup on terminals when you have battery acid corrosion. And there was none of that on this battery. This was just regular grime that came off real easy. And I'm like, okay, it's probably not that. Cleaning it probably won't do much, but maybe if I take the terminals off, I'll see that it's a little dirtier under the terminals, and I can clean under there, and maybe that'll help. So I take the multi-tool, and I try to place it on the terminal nut to unscrew it, and the way that this is placed, it's made for a wrench. It's not made for pliers. There is no good angle I can get on this thing where I can actually turn it. And I can't like, because of the shape of the multi-tool, you can't put too much force on the grip, because one, the awkward shape is like, it's just a cut into your hand. It's very uncomfortable. And two, I don't want to break this thing. It's not a normal set of pliers. It's hinged at more than one point. The more moving parts something has, the easier it is, the more fragile it is. It's not made for, like, something this heavy duty. This thing was screwed on a little bit tighter than I was hoping. So, alright. So I cleaned what I could off of the battery, and it barely changed, and I couldn't take the terminals off, so I couldn't clean under there, but maybe it worked. So I tried to turn on the car, nothing. And I'm thinking, best case scenario, we need a new battery. So I open my phone, and I look at AutoZone, because I know they have free battery testing, free battery and starter testing. So I'm like, okay, when Duke gets back, we let Duke know, hey, our car won't start. When you guys get back, can you give us a jump? They ask if we want them to come back immediately, and I'm like, no, definitely not. I don't want my problems to impact you guys' like vacation fun. It can wait. I can just hang out at the Airbnb until you guys get back. It's not a huge deal. We'll wait until you get back. Saint, welcome in. Happy Tuesday. I am regaling everyone of all the fucked up shit that happened to me over the course of the past week. To recap, since you just got here, my razor broke. I left my clothes at home and did not realize until we were 3 hours away. I opportunity costed myself out of $500 that I could have used for the trip. And so I'm going into this trip with $180 to my name, and now the car won't start. So at this point, we're waiting for Duke and the gang to get back so he can see if a jump start will fix this. I just have to sit here and try to go about my workday while the anxiety is stewing in my head. Will a jump start even work? If a jump start doesn't work, what else is wrong with the car? It's possible that the starter is bad. It's possible that the battery and the starter are bad. So I look up on my phone, how much is a battery? How much is a starter? If a jump start does work, but it just ends up dying again, it could be the alternator that's bad. How much is an alternator? Oh god, that's a lot more expensive than a battery and a starter. I have $180. I have closer to $160 accounting for the stuff that we bought to eat with Duke when we first met. So at this point, I'm down to 160 in my head, roughly estimating. That's not quite enough. Oh, wait. There's a really cheap battery that fits the car that I can just barely afford. But what if that one's not good enough? What if I get the cheapo battery and it's not as good as the battery I'm replacing, and that ends up causing new damage? What if the jump start doesn't work? How are we even going to get it to AutoZone to get the testing done in the first place? And we could get it towed there. How am I going to fucking pay for the tow? So I am forced to sit with these thoughts and try to work at the same time while I wait for Duke to get back from the day's outing. Eventually he does, and I grab the jumper cables in the back of my car, and I'm like, okay, it's been a while since I've done a jump start. I've done jump starts before, but it's been a while, and my anxiety is in overdrive. So I'm like, what if I fuck up the jump start and damage Duke's car? And damage Duke's car and our car in the process. And I'm like, okay, he's here. The car is here. We just got to do it. You've done this before. You've jump started a car before plenty of times. Just fucking do the process. Positive to positive, negative to ground. It is fucking nerve-wracking, but it goes off without a hitch. And now we have to wait for 15 minutes while the jump start goes, while the cars are charging each other's batteries. And then I sit. It's a moment of truth. If this doesn't work, I truly have no idea what's going to happen from here. But the car starts. So I'm thinking, okay, we know it's not the starter. That's great. It's probably the battery. And we're doing this thing where the Airbnb is where we sleep, but when we're hanging out, generally speaking, we go to Duke's place because it's not that far from the Airbnb. So he came over to give me a jump, but we were supposed to meet at his place. So he came over just to give me a jump, and then I followed him to his place, and we hung out, and it was great. We had a fantastic time. I think that's when I accidentally accused Belle-Ais of being in defeat because I thought she was Belle Coyote. It was very funny. We had a great laugh. And it's time to go home and start the car. Nothing. And not as nothing as before. Before it was I turned the key and there was no click. This time I turned the key and it did the wow, 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 and then stopped. So I was like, okay. The battery is draining fast. And at this point, alternator is not off the table. Because if it was jump started and we were at Duke's place for a couple hours, it took like, I don't know, 15 minutes to get to his place from the Airbnb. So over the course of probably less than 3 hours, the battery has died again. Is it possible that the alternator is bad, and because of that, me leaving the car idling and then driving to Duke's place did not really charge the battery, so it died again? It's not off the table. I have to get it to the fucking AutoZone to check. But at this point, it's like 11 p.m. I was hoping the original plan was always to take it to AutoZone the next day, because I was like, I don't want to think about this right now. I'm just glad the car is running. I just want to hang out with Duke and the gang and have fun, because when I'm hanging out with Duke and the gang, I'm having a great time. So the idea was tomorrow we'll go to AutoZone first thing in the morning and get this sorted out. But now I have to get another jump before we can even go home. Thankfully, it works. And I noticed, like I said, after sitting for just a couple hours, it wouldn't start, but it was more than not clicking at all. So I was like, okay. Obviously, it drains over time, very fast, but so tomorrow, I'll just have Duke come over in the morning, give me a jump, and we'll you know, we'll get it going. We'll go to AutoZone. So, get home. It's Monday night. I'm thinking, right, I have about $160 to my name, and I have to stretch it across 6 more days. And also I have to buy a battery, probably. So that's going through my head, trying to go to sleep. I wake up. It's Tuesday. I check my phone. Shit's on fire at work again. Someone touched something on one of my projects and broke it and needs me to fix it again. One of my clients that was supposed to enter open enrollment next week has instead decided they want to start their open enrollment tomorrow on a Wednesday. So I need to get all of their prep work done that I was going to do over the course of the week today. let's get her done. So I'm coming out swinging. I get my work laptop. I gotta get that shit done. I'm waiting for Duke to show up so we can get the jump. I'm working. I haven't had breakfast because I gotta get this fucking work done. And then Duke comes over. We start the jump, and we let it go for 5 minutes because I remember reading. When you initially charge the car, you want to let it go for 5 minutes. And then if it starts, then you let your car idle for about 15 so the alternator can charge the battery. The first time we did this, I misremembered and had the jump start phase go for 15 minutes. This time, I was like, okay, I remember. You actually need to jump it for 5. So, we jump it for 5. I try to start the car. Nothing. Like, same as the first time. Not even a click. And I'm like, okay, it has been sitting overnight. Maybe it did need the 15 minutes. Let's give it another 10 minutes. I am snoozing the ads for now, so I can continue telling the story. Let's give it another 10 minutes. Since it's been longer than the 3 hours when we hung out at Duke's place, you know, maybe this will be a repeat of yesterday. So we give it another 10 minutes. I still haven't eaten. Anxiety's going up. And 10 minutes, I give it another 15 just to be safe. And then start the car, nothing. Again, won't even click. It hasn't even progressed to like the it's nothing. Still. At this point, I'm like, okay, you can turn your car off, Duke. I don't want to risk draining your battery too. Like, you can't have the jump start go for like way too long. At this point, I gotta call it. Can you just tomorrow? Can you just take me to AutoZone and we'll buy a battery and bring it back and I'll install it here and see if that fixes it. We could go now, but I have work. I have like fires at work that need to be taken care of, and I don't want to get in the way of your guys' plans for the day. We can do it tomorrow morning before your guys' planned stuff, and we'll get it knocked out. There's AutoZone like 5 minutes from here. I'll make it quick. So they do that. So I get to have another day of I get to work while simmering in the anxiety. It is Tuesday. We are almost halfway through the week, and my entire experience in this trip so far, for the first half of this trip, has been work, worry about things, try to be normal around the gang while we hang out at Duke's place, sleep. It has been that on... there was half of that on Saturday. Because, you know, there was no trying to be normal with Duke and the gang because we didn't meet up yet. But there was still worry about things and try to sleep. Sunday, worry about things, try to be normal with Duke and the gang, sleep. Monday, wake up, work, worry about the car, try to be normal hanging out with Duke and the gang, try to sleep. Tuesday, wake up, work, worry about the car, try to be normal with Duke and the gang, sleep. Wednesday, I wake up, I'm worried about the car, I check my phone, shit's on fire at work, but Duke's here, he's gonna take me to AutoZone, we're gonna get the battery, and we're gonna see what we can do. We're riding there. The day before, I was talking to Brooke about this and was like, hey, I don't like asking for money, but I'm kind of out of options. So we talk about it, and Brooke spotted me for the battery, basically the entire cost of the battery, which I was very grateful for. And Bell and Lumi also offered to help pay as needed, which I was very grateful for. I'm still very grateful for. I will pay you guys back, I swear on my life. Because... And I needed the additional assistance, because I remembered when we got to the AutoZone, I don't just need the battery. Because I couldn't bring the car to the AutoZone because it won't start. My initial plan was, we get a jump, I drive to AutoZone, we do the free battery test, and I do their loan a tool service, because I'd be in the parking lot. I'd just like, hey, can I borrow a 10mm wrench? That's it. That's all I need to change this battery. And maybe like a ratcheting wrench and extension to get out the little battery hold-in clip. But I can't do that if the car's not in the parking lot. I can't just ask to borrow tools from a tool shop and then drive away. So I have to buy the tools now because I'm not home. I don't have my tools. So I have to buy a wrench set just to be safe, because I don't know 100% certain that the nuts on the terminals are 10mm. They were, but I wasn't 100% sure. So I had to get a full set just to be safe. And then I had to get a socket set and a ratcheting wrench and an extension, and I had to get the more expensive 12-inch extension. I was originally going to get a slightly cheaper 10-inch extension, but it wasn't in stock. And the only one smaller than that was 4 inches, and I'm like, that's probably not going to reach. This battery has one of those annoying battery holding clips that's at the bottom. So you need a fairly long extension to reach it. So I buy the battery, I buy the tools, and we ride on back. I'm thinking, I hope the battery works. I went and bought the cheapest battery that they had that fits my car. I hope it's not too cheap and doesn't damage the electronics. I hope I can take the terminals off correctly and don't short anything. I hope I place the new battery in correctly and don't damage anything when I screw in the hold-in clip. I hope replacing the battery actually fixes this fucking problem. So we get back to the car. I take out the terminals. I take out the battery. I put in the new battery. And you know what I notice? You know what I fucking notice? The cheapest battery that AutoZone had, that was like half the price of the recommended Duralast, had a cold cranking amperage of 525. The Duralast battery had a cold cranking amperage of like 800, which is why I was so worried. I was like, this is really low compared to the recommendation. That's why I was worried about like, oh, is this going to be too low for the car? I take out that OEM Hyundai battery, and it has a cold cranking amperage of 410. And I'm like, no fucking wonder this thing died. This thing's a piece of junk. The cheapo Pro Power, basically GameStop used cover branding on this battery had a good 100 and change CCAs over the battery that the car comes with. And this is where it starts to... everything starts to come together. The cheapest battery they had, plenty. More than enough. I hooked that bad boy in. She starts up A-OK. I don't even need to reset the power windows. The car runs like it never had a problem to begin with. We are good to go. I take the battery back to AutoZone. We get the core credit refund. I use that core credit refund to refill the gas. I got a full tank of gas, a full battery. The car's running great. We're sitting pretty. I take care of all the fires at work. Nothing else needs to be taken care of. I actually get done work like around closing time, which is the first time that's happened this week. We're sitting pretty. All of a sudden, the first full half of this trip has been nothing but fucking Anxiety City. And just like that, you put that battery in, the car starts, we have a full tank of gas, work's done, we're good. We're good, we're chilling. We're chilling. I can enjoy the rest of Friendsgiving. Thank fucking God. However, the car troubles are over, but I'm still poor. I still have to make that $160 stretch for the rest of the trip. And, you know, every time we go out and do something, I'm paying out of pocket because I don't want to be that guy that's bumming off of other people for the vacation event. Like, obviously, everybody that I was hanging out with was very cool, and they were offering to help me financially, but the last thing I want to do is take advantage of their goodwill. So I'm like, okay, I still have money in the bank. I'll pay for what I can. And I still gotta make sure we have enough to get gas to get home at the end of this. So I'm playing the guessing game of, my bank account says I have this much money, but it's also nearing the end of the month, and this is when some automated payments go through. So I'm trying to do the math on how much money I actually have. And whether or not I'm through the gauntlet of autopay or not yet. And trying to make sure, like, how much would I have after this purchase? Is that going to be enough to get gas? We're like 300 miles away from home. I'm going to need to fill up at least once. So the rest of the trip, while definitely a lot more relaxing, I was never truly free from the anxiety. And that's not even getting into me as a person. See, I think I said this around the beginning of this story. I am very much a homebody. I don't go out too much. I can't tell you the last time I hung out with people in person that was not like family. It's been a hot minute, and I drove out here like 6 hours away from home for people that I am friends with online, but I've never met in person. And my first experience with meeting them in person is going to be sharing a living space with them for a week. And I've just, like, halfway through this week, I'm like, I've been a wreck. I've been a wreck this entire trip so far. I'm sharing a living space with people, and I'm dead broke. My car doesn't work. Anytime we have to go somewhere, I need a fucking jump. I'm not like, I'm a financial burden. I don't provide reliable transportation. I haven't really done anything around the house. I just wake up and I work and I fret about the car. There were a couple days where I didn't get to shower because I was so busy with work. I'm just thinking I'd probably smell like shit. I'm just, God forbid anybody has to be in the car with me. I feel bad for them. I can't super tip like I normally do. I feel like I can't meet any standards. The entire time that I'm with this people, I can't meet any standards. So, and it's just that was the flavor of my dread for about 10 days straight. Like, the car trouble and everything happening at work and everything happening with a firm, realistically, those were not my problem with this experience. My true problem with this experience is that it was 10 days in a row of I have failed. I have failed in every possible measurable fashion imaginable. And it's... Thank you for bringing up the masking foul. Because that's the only thing I could do at that point. Is like, freaking out about this is not going to help anyone. It's going to harsh the vibe. It's especially going to harsh Foul's vibe. I cannot, like... I can't pay for the battery. I can't pay for food. I can't get the fucking car to work. The one thing that I can do is not harsh the vibe. It took every fiber of my fucking being to not freak it. Because I was like, I'm not about to ruin this experience for the people around me any more than I already have. So that was the trip. That was Friendsgiving. Now, granted, I don't want to make it sound like I had a terrible time. Like I said at the beginning of this, whenever I was hanging out with everybody, I was having a fantastic time. They were fantastic company, and they were very good to me and understanding of my situation. And I'm sure I did not actually negatively impact their experience. That's just what my anxiety was telling me. And I was, I'm extremely grateful, and I'm super happy that I got to meet everybody and hang out, and it was a fantastic time. But yeah, my anxiety was going fucking nuts. So that was certainly an experience. I feel like that's something I taught you. It's easy to get caught up in, what do I bring to the table? When people like and care about you, it's different. It's true. And that is, what I would tell myself to hold myself together. It's like, no, it's not actually like that. You're fucking freaking out. And you just fucking lock in, bro. Just relax. Relax for a goddamn second. And it was just, that was just happening the entire time. But yeah. I do feel like the masking, whenever something goes wrong, I feel like I've got the masking pretty down pat. Because ultimately, like I said, freaking out isn't going to help anybody. If I have a problem that I can work through, even if it feels like shit, I've got to work through it. It wouldn't help, it wouldn't help Foul to freak out about the car and be like, I don't know what we're going to do. If we can't get this fixed, I don't know how we're going to get home. We can't afford a tow, we can't afford a battery, we can't afford tools, because in retrospect, we did. We got it, we got through it. We got through it pretty much unscathed. So harshing, and if I did harsh the vibe, what would have happened? We still would have got through it, but now the vibes are back. Whereas now, we got through it, and the vibes were fine. I felt kind of bad because there was so little you could do to help me or avert things. It's like this trip was a mistake. Yeah, I said at the beginning, strictly financially speaking, should we have gone? No. We did not have the resources to do that. And that is ultimately my failure to prepare the resources adequately ahead of time. Because we knew, it's not like we got the invitation sprung on us, a week before it happened. We knew months ahead of time that we were gonna be doing this. So ultimately, I'm gonna own that. Yeah, I failed to manage our funds adequately to prepare for this trip that I agreed to months in advance. That's another reason why I try not to freak out at other people about this. Because it's like, listen, you sleep in the bed you make. Far be it from me to try and take out my anxiety and frustrations on the people around me for my mistake. But in a cosmic sense, in a broader sense, should we have gone? Absolutely. Because, you know, at the end of the day, we had a great time. I do not for a second regret going to meet Duke and LT and Trey and Bell and Lumi. All fantastic people. And Callie, Sheriff Callie, not Scar Callie. We met a different Callie at Duke's place. And another Sophia that is like those were Duke's like cowboy VTuber friends that we met. That they showed up just for Friendsgiving, like Saturday. The week long vacation thing was like a preamble, and then the actual event, a couple more people showed up, a couple of Duke's Western VTuber friends, and they were fantastic, and a couple of Duke's work buddies, they were also very cool. It was great. It was great meeting everybody. It was a fantastic experience. You do regret not getting the gift card first, though. Abso-fucking-lutely. That one's inexcusable. I royally fucked up on that one. If I had just did it in the right order and just got a fat fucking gift card and used that throughout the entire trip, it would have been fine. It would have been completely fine. I'm so fucking mad about that. But that was my week of heaven and hell. And I am so fucking glad to be back home. It was fun, but boy howdy, is it a great reminder of, yes, I am a homebody. I do like sitting here in front of my computer all day. It's great here. It's great here. It's temperature controlled here. I have all my tools. If I don't have money, I can just not spend money and survive in my little cave, and it's fine. The outside world can only hurt me so much when I have my cave. And now I can work on Gamedev again. Everything's great. Everything's great. Everything worked out. We're super giga poor. I probably added a solid 30 to 40% to my credit card debt, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I'll figure that out. Everything always works out somehow. Alright. And also, I've added Friendsgiving 25 to the list of stories in the Storytime Redeem. So now I can relive this trauma anytime someone redeems that. Not tonight, though. I've already told the story once tonight. So it won't count. What the fuck was I doing? Oh yeah, I was programming damage in. Okay. Frame gets damaged by hitting other cars. And for the hydrate... 2 hydrates, actually. I missed the one from Brooke earlier. Thank you. I'll double gulp. Delicious. Isa, welcome in. You are in China? What are you doing there? But welcome in. Thank you for braving the firewall to hang out in my stream. I'm flattered. Also, something I noticed while telling this story, because I was looking at chat a lot, I've noticed if I'm looking at chat and I look down, my model gets lazy-eyed. I have no idea how that's happening. You can see, the eye freaks out. If I'm looking down and to the right. I don't know why that's happening. I'm pretty sure that didn't happen with the Eshera model, but it's possible that it did and it just wasn't as noticeable because of how different her eyes are. It's very strange. Lost your voice from probably getting sick on the plane ride? Ugh, gross. That good old airplane flu. It's pretty much guaranteed, to be fair. Well, I hope you get better soon. You're gonna bring up the eye difference? Yeah, it's possible. It's possible that that's what was happening. I'll have to look into the Warudo tracking settings and see if there's anything I can do about that. Because it's supposed to only track one eye and then apply it to the gaze of both eyes on the model. Evola. Is that what they call it? I've never heard that before, but that's genius. Can't stay too long since you get throttled from Twitch and YouTube on VPN. Oof. Well, I'm flattered and I'm very grateful that you would spend your precious VPN resources to stop in on my stream. It's an honor. I hope your travels are safe and your sickness is brief. Next Moon came up with the term. Yeah, that's a good one. All right. Let me see. I think what I want to do. Frame. Where frame at? Cars, parts, frame. Where? Oh, it's under obstacle. Their collision data. Not that one. This one. Yeah, you set the crashing, and then we'll do this with car. Frame.hp plus equals negative random range between 6 and 12. That might be kind of harsh. Well, I'm thinking, I mean, realistically, you really don't want to run into obstacles, so it should be pretty punishing. And realistically, how many times could you fully crash your car into an obstacle before the frame is like completely compromised? If you're really unlucky and you're going fast enough, you only need one. And this would give you like over 10 chances to do that if you're lucky, because everything's base HP is 100. So like, this is probably the right amount of punishing. HP 0. Car frame made of Game Boys. Indeed. It's made of tough stuff, but it's not invincible. Does anything else get damaged by collision? I'm pretty sure, I think the linkages do? Let me see. Damaged by shifting, damage from transmission, damage from rev. Yeah, suspension is damaged by collisions. Suspension and linkage. Okay. So the frame, suspension, and link. Suspension. Okay, it is actually full name suspension. There we go. I saw that HP not getting highlighted correctly. I knew something was up. Getting in depth. Yes, sir. So, my initial thought for this game was, okay, Drift Girls, but like more of a video game, less of a phone game. So you take the gacha shit out, but also, you know, leave a little bit of, not money gacha, but like in-game gacha, just randomization in your shopping experience. So instead of spending real money for in-game money to randomly roll on parts and cars, make it the junkyard experience from Car Mechanic Simulator. And that's where my brain started. Combine Drift Girls with Car Mechanic Sim. Because I really like the gameplay of Drift Girls, and I like the, you know, drift really good to impress the ladies, and there's a little bit of dating sim in there. And I really like messing with the parts and dumpster diving to look for parts for your car in Car Mechanic Sim. And building cars in Car Mechanic Sim is great, but you can't drive them. Like, yeah, there's a test track that you can drive them on, and there's drag racing, but it's not very... It doesn't feel very good to drive. So I was thinking, what if I had Car Mechanic Sim, and then after you build a car, you can drive around like Drift Girls and do dating sim stuff. And impress them with your car that you built. So that's where we're going. So all of the... Instead of doing the actual money gacha for cars and parts, you go to the scrapyard. And the scrapyard is time-based. In-game time-based. So you go there, you see what they have, you see if they have anything that you can use on your car, and if they don't, just fucking come back later, do some other stuff, and then come back again and check. Yeah. That is the general idea. So, in order to have the Gearhead experience, obviously you need to have your car be made of a bunch of parts. And that's what this is for. You have the frame, transmission, clutch, engine, intake, exhaust, nitrous, suspension, steering linkages, brakes, and wheels and tires. And similar to Car Mechanic Sim, there are some things that you have to take out in order. So that's why some things are nested like this. Like, you have to take out all of the parts before you can fuck with the frame, because all of these things are ultimately attached to the frame. You have to take out the clutch before you can fuck with the transmission. You have to take out the intake, exhaust, and nitrous before you can fuck with the engine, because they're all attached to the engine. You have to take out the wheels before you can touch the brakes, because the wheels will be in the way, obviously. And you have to take out the brakes and the steering linkages before you can take out the suspension. And there's different categories of each part. Basically to recreate that Car Mechanic Sim experience of going to the junkyard and seeing like, oh, it's a suspension, but it's not the suspension for any of the cars that I use, or, oh, it's a door for a car that I don't have. Or, oh, these engine parts fit my car and they're in really good condition. So stuff like that. And that's where the HP comes into play. Is they lose HP as you drive through wear and tear, and if you fuck up your driving, they'll wear faster. And the more worn they are, the worse they perform. So after every race, you take your car back to the garage, you fix her up. And then you get back on the road. So for now, it's time to implement all the ways that parts can get damaged. So let's see. If I hit a car, it should damage the frame, suspension, and linkage. Let's see that in action, shall we? This guy. Alright. hit like 3 cars, and that brought me down to 60% HP on all 3 parts. That sounds about right. I just want to show off the nitrous. Again, no visual effect for it yet, but mechanically, it's working. All right. So that works. Transmission damaged by over and under rev upshifts. Okay. And that damages both the transmission and the clutch. For this, definitely something that would be less impactful than hitting another vehicle. That would probably only drop it anywhere from like 1 to 3%. Maybe even just 1 to 2. We'll do 0.5 to 2. Yeah. Because you don't want to have to rebuild your fucking transmission that often. Especially because you cannot repair parts while they're on the car. So if you needed to repair the transmission, you gotta take out the clutch and the transmission, and there'll be little car mechanics sim type mini games for that. So you don't wanna have to do that super often. Maybe I'll make it. I'll make it 0.5 to 3. As someone who's been here to watch me play both racing games and mechanics sim, you get the appeal. Yeah, I'm hoping, like, a lot of times when I have an idea for a game, I'm like, this is for me. I don't care if other people like this. This is for me. But this one, I'm like, surely there's got to be other people that are looking for an experience like this. The funny scavenger hunt boy won NYC? What are you talking about? I know what all of those words mean individually, but I haven't the slightest clue of what the hell they mean in that sequence. Okay, I'm guessing this is some sort of political thing. Alright. I believe the engine is where shifting takes place, which I know it should be happening in the transmission, but it's my video game. It's literally election day. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Fucking good luck to him, I guess. Let's see. If rev state is equal to 0 or 3, then the shit will take damage. Rev state, it's equal to 1, equal to 2, equal to 3. It should just be else. So if it's 1, you get the okay. If it's 2, you get the crit. If it's 3, we'll just do if else. Super dot transmission dot HP 0 plus equals negative random range 0.53. When you heard it was called a bit ago. I wonder if it'll make a difference. No, it doesn't where you live. I mean, you know, America does plenty of international affairs. Maybe it's not impossible that it could affect you somehow. In like a butterfly effect sort of way. And then the clutch will also take damage. Butterfly effect is where your brain's at. We will have to wait and see indeed. God, I just realized I can already feel it in my throat. I'm taking throat damage because it's been a hot minute since I've had to talk this much at any one time. I gotta keep up with the hydration. Both of these is done. All right. So if I fuck up the shift, it should damage the parts. Let's see. Yep. And if I go too high, yep. And then that fucks up the body. In the end, they're all the same character with a different skin. Yes, sir. Every politician's a crook. Oh, you're going? You bought Midnight Club LA while it was on sale? Just as good as you remember? Interesting. I remember playing the Midnight Club LA like a couple years ago at this point. And I remember getting kind of frustrated with the game. I feel like, to me, I did not get the it's as good as I remember experience, but I would not be opposed to trying it again. It has been a good few years, and I had the same experience with Midnight Club 3. And then I played that again recently, and I was like, okay, no, this is fun. So, yeah, maybe I just wasn't feeling Midnight Club's vibe the last time I played LA. I should give it another shot. Maybe you should run for office so there can be a non-crook. Foul? If I was a politician, I'd be a crook. Like, I don't know how to tell you this. I have on multiple occasions thought to myself, I probably would make a good politician. And I would always have that thought after crook-like behavior. I know what it takes to play the game. Also, Monster, what are you playing Midnight Club LA on? I know it's not on PC. I don't remember what platforms it was on. It only ends two ways, exactly. Don't you start, Monster. I don't want... Here's the thing. I may complain about Jade complaining about video games, but I genuinely do not want people complaining about politics in my chat. I don't want either of you motherfuckers doing that. But on your Xbox, okay. Right, it was also on Xbox. I played it on PS3, which is why I'm annoyed that I can't really play it anymore. Though, PS3 emulation has come a long way. Just gonna complain to Straubs? Alright, you fucking do that. you go over there with that shit. Okay. Alright, lay off him. All he did was say, yeah, they're all crooks. To which I then reiterated, yeah, they're all crooks. Okay, we got frame, we got transmission and clutch. Engine's gonna be the interesting one. This one constantly drains over time with an increased penalty while in the red zone. It's based on revs. So, how do I want to do this? Bring me the engine. What's happening here? RPM target, RPM current. RPM current. There should be... The car should have some measure of where the rev meter is at, because it has to draw it on the screen. Let's see. Shift zones, vision radar, part HP, RPMs, floor engine speed, miles per hour. Okay. Shift zones. Draw set color, draw rectangle. It should be this one. Attack width times engine RPM current over array length, engine dot power curve plus -1. That's what I want. So that will give me how full the tachometer is. We grab this equation, go back into the engine, and we want RPM current. I guess we want to do it, like, after all of this. Speaking of video games, there was the one controversy with Chaos Zero Nightmare over the week. I feel like somebody talked about it to me, and I don't remember what it was. Remind me, what was the deal with Chaos Zero Nightmare? Oh, was it the one about the fact that the male, like, in-game character talks to the girls more than the MC does? Oh, this is a new one. Apparently the original writer got pushed out by office politics. What? I did not hear about this. Oh, true, you said over the week. The thing I was thinking of was something that happened before I left. This is a new thing. Yeah, I've not heard this. That's fucked up. HP plus equals -1 times, hang on, 1 over room speed times RPM current over array length power curve -1. Wait, what? I see. Missing a parentheses. Ones that replaced them were the ones who wrote the current story. Huh. Including what I brought up. Ah. Interesting. Yeah, CZN definitely seems to be running into trouble every week. Current main story was written to intentionally mock the players. You know what? Good on them. Fuck them. Like, the people that complain about the male character talking to the female characters more than the player character does, yeah, fuck those people. They are stupid. Also, Duke, welcome in. You did, in fact, miss the debrief. The debrief ended at around 8:30, so you're around 20 minutes after. In case you wanna check the VOD afterwards. Or, if you're a sub, you can just do the fucking VOD rewind, because I don't think I have it turned off yet. You can check, let's see. It probably started around 7:30, and then ended at 8:30. If that's whereabout you wanna scrub. Was picking up groceries. Need the TLDR? Okay. Quick recap of all that happened over the Friendsgiving trip. My razor broke, and then I left my clothes at home, and I did not realize until we were 3 hours away from home. I opportunity costed myself out of $500 that I could have used for the trip. The battery on the car stopped working. You know the saga about the fucking car battery. Shit kept, for Monday through Wednesday, every day I would wake up and shit was on fire at work. So I had a whole lot of shit to do at work, on top of worrying about the car. And basically the entire trip was anxiety city. It was, what am I gonna fucking do because of all of these things that have gone wrong? And I don't meet the standards of a human being while hanging out with all of these other people that have their lives together. I'm a financial burden. I don't provide reliable transportation. I did not provide any sort of meaningful service to the Airbnb while I was there. I was not really, barely able to socialize because I was so busy with work. Yeah, that's all that. I know. Not actually a burden. I know. Realistically, I can fairly confidently say that everybody had a great time, and I had a great time, and it was fantastic meeting everybody. I don't regret going, and it was great. The trip was great. Realistically speaking, from an outsider's perspective, everybody had a great time. It's just that's what my anxiety was telling me the entire trip, is that everything is going wrong. Everything is going wrong and you're a failure. It is what it is. It sucks. I love Owen. He's my son. Yeah, he's all right. I don't hate him. He's no girl, but he's all right. Because we're going to do HP 0, not HP as a whole. Now that boy's gonna get blasted. It will be interesting to see what happens. Esau group is chill as hell. Yeah. I was saying, I'm eternally grateful to you and LT and Trey and Bell and Lumi. You guys were all super duper fucking cool to hang out with. You guys are fantastic people. It was a great time. There's RPM over, and I should probably put these in parentheses as well. RPM current over the power curve over -1. And then if let's do this. Where equals this amount. I'm in the country zone. What is happening? Get me out of here. Thomas Colin and Emmanuel Lauvernier. Get me out of the Colin zone. Okay, there we go. Oops. I was like, what the heck is that? That was just someone on the laptop. Everything just happened with really unfortunate timing. It sure fucking did. God, it sure did. They'd say they're rewriting the main story around the main character, which gives me Snowbreak 1.3 vibes when every girl became a template harem member. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, it's not like it wasn't already at least a little bit of that already. Like, look at how the player character interacts with the in-game characters as it is. Like, there are already a lot of girls that are fawning over the player character. At least a little bit. It's all so tiresome, as they say on Reddit. You go find the post and put it in the Discord. Okay. Godspeed. You all missing out if you haven't eaten Duke cooking? Yeah. The man's a professional chef. What do you expect? Had to be like cooking and baking, so that makes it all worth it. Oh, you know what? I didn't get a chance to eat the second batch of the macadamia cookies. I heard that those came out better. I just now realized I didn't get a chance to test that. My greed. I ate 2 of the first batch cookies. If I just had 1 first batch cookie, I would have had room in my stomach for another one in the second batch. It's a classic tale of hubris. If they're still sitting there, can you send one over? The folly of man. I don't know if Duke would like you eating his food because you just try mixing shit together. I mean, listen, food's meant to be, it'll get mixed up. It'll get mixed up eventually. Elsie ate them all. I mean, I don't blame her. They were good fucking cookies. Can you make me a batch without the white chocolate chips? I think that would be aces. Okay, first let's test and see if this wear rate is appropriate. Crazy. I'm mostly kidding. I don't actually expect you to do that, but it would be cool. Like, if you were to indulge me, I think it would be cool. But, like, I'm not gonna seriously expect that. Okay, over the course of 1 medium-length race, that reduced the engine's life by a fucking quarter. That's not gonna fly. I want that to be closer to, like, 10% damage, not 25. Must be getting better. You're starting to enter silly little guy mode. I feel like I'm feeling pretty normal. You need a plate of slop as long as it tasted good. Okay, I'm also considering the texture though. As long as it tastes good and the texture does not set me off. So let's see. I need to divide that by let's do like 0.3. Let's see what that's like. Yeah, barely draining the engine. And then, yeah, at red line, it's draining at a decent pace. Okay, let's try this again, but normal, and see how much it drains. Over rev my transmission, my clutch. Ooh, we started the needle on that one. Man lives off of bread? You're goddamn right I do. This is not new. This is not news to anybody. Everybody knows at this point that I live off of bread. Okay, that only brought it down by like 8%. I'm fucking with that. I'm fucking with that. I think that's about right. No, because you have to take out a lot of stuff to get to the engine. I really don't want you to have to replace it that often. What if I did 0.1? So I haven't gotten too far into the bread chest from the farmer's place. That's true. I haven't gotten into it yet because I was having I was eating the rest of the cereal for breakfast this morning. If gear current, where is it? Gear current is less than array length, gear range plus -1. And rev state is equal to 3. And rev state is equal to 3. Just to make it really obvious that it's working properly, let's multiply the wear rate by 20, so you'll see it just shoot up when we hit the red line. So right now, engines hasn't even been touched. Okay, now it's scrolling down ever so slightly. If you're going to red line, it starts draining the engine health real fucking fast. It's just like normal to see what the wear rate actually looks like. I'm back in the fucking country zone. Thank you for saving me, Maxwell. Alright. Engine wear was down to like... that's 3? Which... because it'll round down. So that's probably good. Missed Twitch so much while you were in hell. True! You were also really going through it last week. We were all going through it together. You just feel we're back and now everything is right with the world. Honestly, it's not even the algorithm. It's the, like, this is still the... We've been listening to the Need for Speed Porsche Unleashed soundtrack, and there's just, like, a really sizable segment of it that's country for some reason. It is very odd. Alright. Let's see. We're getting close to the end of this playlist. Probably one of the radio stations? Maybe. I forget if they did that in Porsche Unleashed. It could just be that there's like one of the tracks could be like in a country biome, and maybe it has a couple songs dedicated to that area. Hit me with that fucking Need for Speed 1 soundtrack, dog. Bring me back to the Electronic Arts 3DO. No, not the high stakes soundtrack. We'll get to that later. Need for Speed 3DO. The Need for Speed. Oh shit. Special Edition has like twice as many tracks on it. Alright, play that. Excellent timing. Started it right when I switched over. start from the beginning. Wow, the soundtrack includes the jingle that plays when they show the EA logo? That's crazy. The footage is absolutely insane. Never forget. It was very fun to record that. Okay, so instead of the wear rate being 20, we can just double it. That'll probably do. Or perhaps quadruple. I want redlining to have serious repercussions for the vehicle. The first one reduced it by like 3. Let's see how much more it'll be reduced if I just over rev every shift. We're already down to 98. And we haven't even gotten through the first section yet. Okay, that's not so bad. It only incurred an additional percentage of damage. Quintuple's probably good as it is. Alright. So that's the engine. The intake and exhaust, they wear similar... They wear the same way that the engine does, faster, but without the red zone penalty. So, we want to take... Let me guess, this is the Mustang theme? I'm hearing a lot of horses. Oh, this is the Ferrari theme. Okay, yeah. The original Need for Speed was all about supercars. The fucking Mustang wouldn't be featured in here. I'm stupid. Okay, back to the engine. Before we multiply, let's do... super.intake.hp wear times 2. And then same for exhaust. Uma Musume theme. That you could probably make a mean AMV with that song. Not over revving on purpose this time, I'm just bad. Okay, intake and exhaust took about 5 points of damage. I think that's acceptable. For a moment, I thought this was a Gundam theme. Interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a Gundam theme that does sound similar to this. I think it would just be like, you know, of the time, because this was like, what, early 90s? It might even be earlier than that. When did the original Road and Track Need for Speed come out? In 1994, apparently. Yeah, I could see it having some Gundam-esque vibes of a similar era. That was a very 90s riff. Yeah. Why does the Corvette theme sound like a fucking game show intro? The ZR1 delivered from the heavens. And then Nitrous is just going to take a flat point of damage every time it's used.
Okay, cameras are ready and rolling. Action move. Wow. And action. Wow.
Holy cow, does it ever go fast?
Holy cow.
We would like to see you making this approach. Okay. We'll start from this side.
And you want the standard
Nitrous.
start from a stop, right?
Which I think is also handled in the engine. Yeah, here we go.
Okay. And
HP
coming
0
down is when you want me to punch it.
-1.
Okay.
But I want to do it like a rocket.
Tell yourself, think about how different people truly are these days.
Okay.
Just like
I gotta.
how one person is different from another, or like how different people are these days compared to the olden days. And this one should be pretty straightforward. I just need to use the NOS and see if it decreases the health. From each other, I think it's, I think it's the internet. Just since it's easier than ever to perceive other people, you just become way more aware of how many different kinds of people there are. Wait a minute, I'm not tracking the I'm a fucking idiot. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Am I crazy? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. God damn it. I wasn't tracking the nitrous health on the debugger. Alright, hang on. That's a simple fix. Imagine playing a game with a kit designed for rage bait. Like, getting over it? Are there a lot of games like that? What do you mean a kit? Nitrous would go after exhaust. A Dead by Daylight game. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, you're thinking of Dead by Daylight. Yeah, that's exactly what that is. We already have one of those. Recently, you've been following the lady who's been playing the entirety of the Trails of series on the stream. Oh! For a moment you thought, ain't no way I would do this? Yeah. Like, it would just be way too long, man. It wouldn't be able to hold my attention for that long. I can't even get through one Trails game, nonetheless all of them. But, yeah, some people are just built different. The Roblox game Outcome Memories? Oh, sorry. I don't hang out on the Epstein platform. So I would not know anything about that Outcome Memories or whatever it is.
You're just crying out for some rehabilitation, aren't you?
Oh? Oh, there's theme music for when you get arrested. That's fucking sick.
Well, I do believe I got me my first UFO capture. You better start turning green real fast, Gizmo, or the National Enquirer ain't gonna buy my story.
I love theme of getting pulled over. Cop's got a one-liner and then a sick guitar riff. Remember the meme of Sonic.exe? Yeah. Yeah, that's a classic. Mix it up with Sonic characters in Dead by Daylight and get Outcome Memories. Oh, okay. I had to achieve something I have not done in a short time on Twitch. Finish a complete full-length RPG. Now, wait a minute. I've finished multiple Pokemon entries. Zoid's Legacy. Front Mission 3, which I don't know what the longest game I've completed is, but Front Mission 3 has to be up there. Let me hit you with the how long to beat on that one. How long to beat Front Mission 3? Did I finish Zoids on stream? No. You didn't specify on stream. I don't think I don't think I finished an RPG on stream. Yeah, How Long to Beat is saying that main story for Front Mission 3, 40 and a half hours. That's bona fide RPG territory. It's not the longest out there, but that's up there. Almost beat Okami on stream in a week? God damn. How many hours out of the day were you streaming, man? Jesus. Okay, let's try this again. Oh hell yeah. This is the fucking Lucky Glauber type beat. Threading the needle. Really threading the needle on this one. Oh shit. I could probably add some randomness to the nitro. To the nitro HP consumption. We'll say random number between 0.1 and 1.2. We'll do 0.5 and 1.2. How about that? Random range between 0.5 and 1.2. She's been streaming almost every day for a few months, and she's just finished the 6th game. Jesus Christ. Of 12. Is that including spin-offs? I feel like it would have more games than that at this point. Not including spin-offs. Okay, okay. That makes sense. That would be way too much. Wait a minute, I can check my handy-dandy Discord where I keep track of what games I've actually finished on stream. There we shall see if I have actually beaten an RPG on stream. Assuming it's reasonably up to date. There may be some games I haven't put on there yet. Completed streams. Let's see. Parasite Eve. Bada bing, bada boom. That counts. Parasite Eve is an RPG. Oh, wait. Apparently I did complete Zoid's Legacy on stream. 24? 24, I'm pretty sure it counts as a Western RPG. If you really think about it, I'm playing the role of Jack Bauer. What else we got on here? Rabbit and Steel, Fire Emblem Engage, Parappa the Rapper, Rabbit and Steel. I think I said Rabbit and Steel already. The Mitochondria game. Hell yeah, brother. I gotta get through Parasite Eve 2 at some point. And then I gotta play that Mutant Eve. Oh no, Parasite Mutant, they called it. That is so blatantly Parasite Eve that it hurts, but I love it. Because the fucking Square ain't giving us anything. Yeah, the indie one. That is like barely legally distinct, and I'm here for it. Okay, suspension is also damaged by collisions. Linkage is also damaged with collisions, which we've already done. Brakes damaged by poor drifting, so that will be anywhere between 1 and 5 if you fuck up a drift. It's cool, not gonna lie. It looks pretty great. Let's see. So brakes affected by drifting. That would be in the event object. For left turn. Car dot brake dot HP 0 negative random range anywhere from 1 to 5. I love fucking 90s club music, dude. They just be sampling anything. Why was the stock gruesome death scream at the start of this track? Them motherfuckers were sampling whatever they wanted. There's a point at which copyrighted material should stop mattering. Absolutely. You sit on IP for 10 years and don't use it? Yeah. Yeah. But, you know, you can thank Disney for the fucking statute of IP protection being like 100 years or whatever. But nah, I agree. If you don't do anything with it, you can't get mad when someone else does it. Some 90 songs sampling the piss sounds from the War of the Chat Redeem. I'm sure somebody could. And then if you're early, it'll also do that. Wheel, rim range between 1 and 3. So if I fuck up my drifts, the wheel and brakes will take some damage. Alright. We're late. We take some hits. Yeah. We're fucking it up. That's good. That's good. Okay. And then wheels take additional damage based on how fast the car is moving. Wheel. Wheel.HP 0. Negative. Advance. Times. Advance over room speed times 1. Putting that times 1 there because I have a sneaking suspicion I'll need to change it. So it's just placeholder. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, it's already down to 96 and we're just now getting to the first fucking section. I don't think that's gonna fly, brother. You cannot burn through. It might be a bit more realistic, but gameplay-wise, you cannot fucking force the player to replace their wheels after every race. That is unwise. Let's do 0.1. See where that gets us. Especially if you consider the gacha nature of the shop. I mean, you can repair. You can repair the parts. However, they lose max health during the repair process. It's not a lot, but it's just so that you can't repair parts forever. Eventually, you will need to replace them. But you can custom order parts. However, they won't get there immediately. It takes 48 hours for a custom ordered part to arrive. So, you know, you can take your chances, see what you can find in the shops and the scrap yards, or if you really want to make sure that you get a part that you absolutely need, you just gotta pay a little extra and you gotta wait. Let's see. Yeah, 2 points of damage for that. I think that's reasonable. You replace your tires after, like, what's that, 50? After 50 races? Yeah, that sounds about right. And as your cars get faster, that wear will get faster too. So I should probably make it so that higher tier tires have more durability. Thinking to suggest some kind of alternative for the well-off racer? Yeah. Yeah, I've had time. Whenever my anxiety wasn't kicking my ass during the Friendsgiving trip, I had time to think about what I was gonna do for this game when I got back. I've got plots and plans for how this shit's gonna work. The monkey pointing image, you. How do I make this work? Touch the button on accident. Oh, okay. I thought you were doing a bit. Oh, I know how I can do this. You didn't text me about that thing while you're in the middle of all that bullshit, did you? Let me see. When was that? The 30th. That would have been after the worst of it, so you're fine. Because it was... The battery troubles were resolved on Wednesday. The 30th was on Thursday, so, like... I was still having, you know, general crisis, but the immediate and real threat was over. I was on the mend, yeah. And your message was, like, it was good. So, if anything, that just helped. Divided by... wheel.tier plus 1. Now, the higher I make these ones, the less of an effect the higher wheel tier will be. Let's do 2. Let's say... So it'll be a 50% or a 25% reduction at tier 1, and then tier 2 cuts the wear in half. That feels reasonable. So the tire wear was down 2 points with stage 0 tires. Let's see. Where's the Mazda? Let's see where stage 2 tires gets us tire wear wise. Where you at? Wheel 2. The stage 2 tires will also make us go faster. Wow, lucky me. Fucking no cars on this side. I had to do shit. Yeah, barely any tire wear on this. So, I think that's the cutting the wear in half, probably a little too extreme. Let's do double that. And I'll just assume that that works fine. Did a good job coming up with ideas. Can't quite tell how it feels to control at the moment. Yeah, I've got a bunch of ideas for how it works outside of the driving. But you know, all we have implemented so far is the driving. So that's the only thing we can really see. Everything else, it'll shake out as we get to it. Let's see. That is... okay. That is all of the... I think if we do an okay drift, the brakes and wheels should take just a little bit of damage. Looking forward to the UI design stream. Yeah, that'll be fun. You know I love my UI design. I was thinking that the brakes and tires take a little bit of damage from okay drifting, just to artificially induce wear and tear, but I can just artificially induce wear and tear on all parts every time you enter a race. So I won't worry about it. This is good enough for now. We now have wear and tear. Now I need to have actual performance degradation. They were like, I want to do my own spin on it. So you were like, do it to be funny. And they were like, I'm just going to steal someone's idea. And so you're like, okay, I'll just get his permission. Well, I appreciate you asking. I want to see if they do it. That's my one stipulation. If they do it, show me. Let's see. Wind resistance. If they do it, you'll spam it. Okay, excellent. Okay, so we're going back to the frame. Which means I have to go back to the engine. I'm looking for drag. Wind speed. Ah, here we go. Okay. Parts. Even give them a sub so they won't so they really wouldn't back out of it. Oh, that's who that was. I saw in my OBS the follow from like 5 days ago. I'm like, what? Someone followed me while I was away. Interesting. And I did not put 2 and 2 together. Let's see, part parents. FN. How do I want to name this? This is a function for checking the level of degraded performance a part has. Performance check. This function. If HP 0 is greater than 60, return 0. No degradation. HP is greater than 30, return 1. It's a little bit of degradation. Otherwise, return 2. Severe degradation. People don't feel comfortable being subbed to someone they don't follow. Like it feels wrong to them. I can understand that feeling. Like, it would definitely feel weird. It's like, if I'm subbed to you, I feel like just by default I should be following. Now then. Back to engine. Repeat super.frame.fn wait. With super.frame, it would make more sense to do it like this. FN performance check. Drag times equals 10 to make it really obvious. Now, given the transitive property, it doesn't matter which order this is in. Though I'm still going to do a performance check first. So, if I run it now, nothing should be different. We are accelerating like normal. The frame is at full health. So what if... room main. Just close all of these. Frame.HP0 equals 50. Now it should have way increased drag. So, like normal so far, and immediately you can see it is struggling to hit 50 miles an hour. Okay. And if we set it to 20, so it's even lower, Now we're struggling to hit. Now we're struggling to get past 10. Good to know. Good to know. Okay. Ah, yes. P Danny instead of D Danny. Welcome in. Welcome in. I am doing pretty alright. I am significantly more in debt than I was a week ago. But aside from that, feeling pretty good. Ever seen this person before you got the sub, for example? Went and checked them out at least? Yeah, usually if I get gifted a sub to someone, I'll go visit. I'll go over and say thank you to whoever gifted the sub. Figure might as well. Okay, now back to engine. Times 2. Instead of times 10, times 2 is probably good enough. Let's see how giga damaged frame affects the top speed now. That's pretty bad. Like, you don't really want it to be usable when it's this damaged, but this is extreme. Maybe 1.5 for drag. Critical shit. Hope the debt was for something at least good. Absolutely. It was to partake in Duke's Friendsgiving event, which was fantastic. I got to meet a bunch of cool ass people. Admittedly, if you're running with your frame at this level of disrepair, yeah, you don't deserve to break triple digits. Now, what if your HP's at 50? What kind of top speed are we talking? Okay, it's already starting to struggle. It's immediately pretty severe. 1.5 might be a tad extreme. But with the help of nitrous, you can push it. Yeah, that might be a little extreme. How about just 20, just 20%. Like, I think not being able to hit triple digits if you're at red frame is one thing, but barely being able to break 120 with the help of nitrous just because you got your frame to 60%, that seems harsh. This feels more appropriate. Like, we're struggling to pass mid 120 without the use of nitrous. I think that's fair. Is this a game you're making? It sure is. This is all handcrafted by yours truly. Yeah, I think 1.2 is the move. Hope you ate good too, knowing Duke. Oh, absolutely. Brother can cook. There was never any doubt in that front. There's a critical shift. There should be money shift if you really fucking cheese it. There is. If you're redlining, it very rapidly degrades your engine health. There's no like instant engine death money shift, but you'll do some serious damage if you fuck it up. We need to crack down on learning Python and Java. Good stuff to know. Good languages for learning the basics for sure. That's what I started with. Okay, that's the frame. Transmission. Fix critical shift window. So if the transmission is damaged, a higher tier transmission increases the critical shift window, but a damaged transmission can reduce the OK shift window. Because I cannot reduce the critical shift window more than it is on default. Whoa! Miyuki! Welcome in. Thank you for the raid. Welcome in. Welcome in, Django. I hope you enjoyed. Dude, I saw Stranger and my brain just auto-completed fucking Stranger of Paradise. No, you were playing Digimon. I'm sorry, I thought you were a truly cultured gamer playing the best Final Fantasy ever made. But Digimon is also good. How was it? I've heard nothing but good things. Stranger of Paradise is fucking peak. It's my favorite Final Fantasy. This is no exaggeration. This is no bit. This is no irony. It's my favorite one. It's the best one. Being of the penguin variety, you can make your own apps. Yeah, that too. It'd be handy. Always with the hot takes. I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't expect other people to agree with me. But like on a just me personally, it just resonates with me as a gamer. But yeah, if Nioh, like NIOH, like the Ninja Gaiden Souls-like game, through the lens of Final Fantasy, and you play as a guy that just does not fucking care about the lore, but also there is lore at like the 11th hour, if that sounds appealing to you, Stranger of Paradise is like, there's nothing else like it. Nothing is going to give you an experience like that. 4 is your favorite FF? You almost never hear anybody say that either. Really? I thought 4 was more popular. Maybe I'm just thinking of Dissidia Cecil being really popular. But I thought 4 was one of the hyped up ones. But yeah, I do love when a game comes out and it absolutely takes over my week. It's a great feeling. That was me with ZA. The ZA is fantastic. I want to get to it eventually. Like, I played a little bit of it during Friendsgiving. But ever since getting back, I've just been in Game Maker. I'll get back to Pokemon one of these days. 4 is definitely one of the more popular ones with how many sequels it has. Yes, one could argue. One could argue that logic, I suppose. Welcome in, Shane. FF4, the after years was not the best. SB is an RPG where your role is a guy who cutscene skips. True. What engine does Game Maker use? I mean, Game Maker is just kind of an engine of its own. It uses the language that it uses is kind of a mishmash of a couple things, but it's kind of turning into C, I think, is what I heard. I've also heard a lot of comparisons to Delphi, but that was like old GML, like before they started changing the way that the language works. It feels like a combination of a couple of things. Before was very popular, at least in Japan. It's one of the better known ones. Yeah, maybe it was more popular in Japan than it was in the West. So, okay. Zone, which means I have to do an OK zone base. OK zone base 0 0. And then we do the same thing here. OK zone. And then OK zone base. Okay. This is gonna be tricky. Our damage equals 0 with super.transmission. Damage equals FN performance check. Okay, zone 1 was 0 damage times 0.2. Dragoon go up? Yeah. Because it came out with the wrong name in the West. Oh, that's right! Yeah, that was back when the Final Fantasy numbers were all fucked up. Yeah, it was, I thought it was off by 2 for... right up until FF7. So R4 was their 6, and R3 was their 5. And R2 was there 4. Or did we skip 5 and 2? I thought it was consistently off by 2, but it was probably all over the fucking place. We skipped 5. Okay. So we skipped 5 and 2. So we got FF1, and then we skipped to 4? And then we... No. We had 1, and then skipped to 3, and then skipped, and then had 4, and then skipped to 6. Okay. Strange. It's... Yeah. I'm making sure I did the number right. Can you guess why they skipped 2? Yeah, that game was fucking dog shit from what I've heard. I haven't played it myself. I gotta start giving disclaimers whenever I give opinions on games, and like fucking disclaimer. I haven't actually played this game. I'm just talking shit. Okay, so we can fix up the frame. We don't need to damage the frame. Transmission down to Let's do 100 just so I can get a frame of reference for how big that OK zone is. And it's gone. What happened? What happened? Okay, if we don't do this. Oh, I know what's happening. I have to go to the Mazda. Not this Mazda, the engine Mazda. I need to change this to OK Zone base. There we go. Okay, let's try that again. That's better. Okay, yeah, that's a sizable shift zone. Now if we set this to 50, it should shrink a little bit. I don't know if it did. It might have. And if we set this to 20, this should be fairly noticeable. I think so. Let's make it a little bit more obvious. Four. This should really make it turn to a sliver. Okay. That's definitely noticeable. If we do 0.5, yeah, that's more like it. If you're driving with a real fucked up transmission, you gotta work for that fucking shift. And if we set it back to 50, it should be slimmer, but a lot more manageable. Yeah. Staring at RPG Maker like maybe. Hey! That was me staring at Blender for the longest time. And then I just decided, you know what? Fuck it. The best time to start was yesterday. Second best time to start is now. And now look at me. I'm making a just full ass 3D game. You can, if you got time, and not nearly as much time as you think you need, you can knock that shit out. Clutch affects the shift delay. That one should be pretty shrimple. Damage equals 0. We want to do this. Actually, yeah, we want to do this afterwards because it's going to be additive. Actually want this to be... This to be up here. Wait, no, not here. All the way up here. With super dot clutch. Damage equals FN performance check. Plus equals shift delay, or is it 0.5 as a baseline? Let's add another 0.2, so it'll be almost doubled if your clutch is real fucked up. 0.2 times damage. And then we'll do the same thing for downshifts. Thank you for the head pats, bro. You have been supplying them steadily. I have noticed. Oh, it is pretty late for you. That's true. Well, thanks again for hanging out. Good to see. Good to see the regulars are all back. Thank you for the hydrate. I should probably think about wrapping up as well, actually. It's about that time. Couldn't miss the return of the king? Oh, hell nah. The flattery is off the charts. Yeah, have a good EP and a good day tomorrow. Let me see. Getting done with the clutch here. I think I'll want to implement the degradation across all the parts, and then we'll call it a night. See you around, Jade. So, as a control, let's do some shifting and see about how long it takes. Yeah, pretty quick, pretty quick. Okay, now let's introduce some damage. Yeah, shifts are definitely slower already. And if we get it real fucked up, gotta bounce as an Irby does. Of course, of course. Oh yeah, those shifts are bad, brother. God forbid you fuck up the shift too. You're looking at 2 or 3 business days before that tachometer starts ticking up again. Yeah, thank you for hanging out as well, Danny. Hope you also have a good EP and a good day tomorrow. Or a good whatever you're doing if you're not going to eat. Okay, fucked up clutch is good. I think for engine damage, it's just gotta be straight up like... it just doesn't put out as much power. That's pretty straightforward. Damage equals 0. Oh, wait a minute. Get this here first. Repeat. Since we're in the engine, I don't have to do fucked up external references. We can just do FN performance check. Excel times equals 0.9. Maybe 0.8. Again, as a control. Let's see. Okay, we hit 100. We hit about 112 by the time we got to the speed segment. So if I then take the engine and fuck it up a little bit, let's see where we're at. Yeah, we're down to 97, so a significant decrease already. And then you fuck it up a little bit more. And you're not looking so hot. Intake. Exhaust multiplies gear speed values. Okay, so that'll just do the opposite. You know what? I think engine, intake, and exhaust will all do the same thing. So I will decrease... Instead of doing it by 0.8, we'll do 0.9 because all three of them can do it, and that can fuck it up real bad. So, part damage equals FN performance check. And with super.intake equals FN performance check. And then we do the same thing with the exhaust. Heat. So let's say that the engines are all fucked up. We got to around 98 by the time we got to the speed zone, but what if the engine and the exhaust and the intake are all shot? That would be 6 stacks of speed penalty. It's not looking good. This thing is absolutely sluggish. We got to about 78 by the time we got to the speed zone. Fucking yikes. Okay, that takes care of all 3 of those, which is great. Nitrous, I'll have it decrease the duration of the nitrous. So it's 2.5 seconds, so decrease it by half a second with each degradation. Minus 0.5 times FN performance check. Let's get our control value here. Okay. Now let's say the NOS is real fucked up. Yeah, definitely noticeably shorter burst. That'll do. That leaves us with the suspension. I think I want all 4 suspension parts to increase the speed penalty while drifting. Am I getting lazy and making multiple parts have the same penalty because I'm just trying to get this over with? Maybe. But that's how games get made. You fret over all the small stuff, your game never comes out. Sometimes you just gotta be like, fuck it, good enough. Cutting corners is very important. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Can't fret over every egg. That's what I'm saying. While you're drifting, with super dot suspension, damage equals 0, damage plus equal FN performance check. And then you do this with the linkage and the brakes and the wheels. Link, super dot brake, super dot wheel. So that can have up to a maximum of 8 stacks of penalty. Plus negative 0.05, so that could be a total of negative 0.4, which will bring the acceleration all the way down to 0.1, which will probably be very extreme. Let's do 0.25 instead. That could bring down to 0.3 times damage. So for our control, that brought us down to just under 100. So if we then have our suspension and our linkage, our brake, and our wheel all fucked up, how bad can it get? Not great. That brought down an additional 10 miles an hour. That's pretty severe. I have to be very careful if I want to increase that penalty, because the maximum stack will greatly amplify how bad it can be. And you don't want to make it so that your car completely stops when it attempts to drift. But you also don't want to make it inconsequential either. I can try bumping this up to 3. To 0.03. Let's see. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, still brought it down to like high 80s. It's not so bad. We can try 0.05. Because it seemed like bumping it up didn't make a huge difference. Okay, that was pretty rough. But that was not impossible to work with. Okay, I think that'll help make it be more consequential if you just have 1 or 2 of those parts that are fucked up. Now, the final test what if my car has every disease? Frame, and then the engine, and then the intake, and the exhaust, and the nitrous. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What am I missing? Ah, the transmission and the clutch.
Wait, hey everyone, I just wanted to say a couple of things here real quick.
No saying things real quick. More music. Frame, the transmission, the clutch, engine, intake, exhaust, and NOS. Normally I would give them the time of day. I just feel like it would be awkward if we were talking over each other. Ah, right. I need to make sure that these do not go into the negatives because that could get ugly. I'm just gonna do this the easy way. We're gonna go in here. And at the end of everything, we're gonna make another section. Region, part, HP, clamping. And region. Frame, dot HP, 0 equals clamp. There's an easier way to do this. Parts equals frame, transmission, clutch, engine, intake, exhaust, NOS, suspension, link, brake, wheel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I remember how to do array for each. No, I don't feel like doing that right now. We'll do a regular for loop. I equals 0, I is less than array length parts, I plus plus. With parts of I. HP 0 equals clamp HP 0, 0, HP 1. There. Now let's see how car with every disease handles. It's real bad. It's real bad. This thing, it's driving like my old Nissan Versa. Oh my god. If I did not downshift, I'm pretty sure it would have fucking stopped. I gotta know. If I didn't downshift, would it just stop in the middle of that drift? That would be really funny. Okay, no, not quite. It got close, but not quite. With the assistance of nitrous, it barely broke 80. That's great. Yeah, remember to do preventative maintenance. I'm curious, actually. If I really poorly manage my gearing and just enter a drift at way too high of a gear, can I get it to stall? Let's see. I sure can. Oh, if it stalls, you're fucked. Like, I tried shifting in the first gear, and it doesn't have the power to move. I guess it should have a minimum... It should probably have, like, a minimum power value. Let's fix that. Where would that be? Lerp. For a goblin server to build a space base? Ooh. Let me make sure acceleration has a minimum value. Let's try 1. Will that fix this problem? Nice thing about being on a smaller server is Cosmo exploration stuff. It's done slower. Okay, and this should... Nope. Okay, what if minimum acceleration power of 10? Hmm. That doesn't work either, huh? Okay. 50? But that's 50 horsepower minimum. That... Hmm. Hmm. Okay, clearly this is not working. Instead... let's see. If not engine dot finished ants equals minimum ants 0.01. How's that? I'm an idiot. No wonder it wasn't working in the engine. I need to use the maximum of these two values. Whenever I talk about maximum and minimum functions out loud, I always get them mixed up. Because in my head, I'm thinking, right, I need to make sure this volume is set to a minimum of at least 0.1. So obviously I need to use the minimum function. No, you head ass. That's going to take the minimum of the two values. On the plus slide, this should work at least. It's real slow, but it'll get you there. And then you can resume driving. Greasy automobile. Drift target. We should do super instead for this. We finished and drift target is not equal to 0. and handler camera dot mode is not equal to, or is equal to en cam mode dot drift. Let's try this. Something that'll just help it slide along. Living dangerous. Well, that honestly probably 0.5. Would probably do it. Okay, that was definitely too much. Half of that. Actually, you know what? It was already pretty fucking slow, so 0.4 will probably do the trick. Yeah, I think that'll work. Look at him go. Beautiful. All right, that'll suffice. Okay, we have the damage models done. The race is fully doable. You have all of the mechanics in play. We have the drift sections, we have the speed sections, we have obstacles, we can run into the obstacles, they have consequences. I think the next thing to implement is a little bit of polish. We add a little intro. I think first we add an intro, and then we add a menu with which we can enter the race from. And then we add the results screen that takes you back to the menu. Once we have a loop going, then we'll be cooking. Time for the skin on our bones and meat. Mm-hmm. That's an interesting way to put that. But not inaccurate. Yeah, your bones for your real basic structure, meat for your impactful mechanics, and skin for polish. You're making life putting calm into Game Maker. That is We gotta end stream after that one. That's a supremely cursed sentence. All right, let's see who's on that I can bring this absolutely rancid train to. Is Happy still doing there? Oh no, I guess not. Dang, I haven't been able to raid into their extra life marathon. A.Kei.'s on, so we can go over there. As always, I like to support smaller streamers, so if you're coming with me on this raid, remember to be nice. Excuse me. You can be little gremlin bastards if you want, but be nice about it. And most importantly, give the streamer a chance to shine, give them a chance to show their stuff. And until probably tomorrow, I got a lot of catching up to do, of course. So, probably gonna be back tomorrow doing more of this. Until then, thank you Brooke, thank you Foul, thank you Monster, thank you Mino, thank you McVin, thank you P. Danny, thank you Jade, thank you Miyuki for the raid, thank you Chain, thank you Django, thank you Sarah, thank you Idea, thank you Saint, thank you Kata, who we are about to raid. I'm hoping I'm not forgetting anyone, but I have the sneaking suspicion that I might be. Oh, Rub was here, thank you Rub. And I feel like there was another one as well. If I'm forgetting you, I do apologize. But again, till tomorrow, same time, same place, I will see you all next time.